On 14 March 1953, a single freight car left Bern's marshaling yard carrying a political prisoner sentenced to 12 years hard labor for opposing the communist regime. The hands that loaded him belonged to a railway clerk who would never sign his name to the deed. Watch as a coal-blackened crate slides into place while border police smoke cigarettes just yards away. How did a modest Swiss clerk with no spy training engineer this escape? And why did he demand that history erase his name entirely? The Iron Curtain had fallen across Europe like a steel shutter. After 1945, the continent was partitioned. Germany split, Poland shifted west, Czechoslovakia swallowed by Soviet influence. In this maze, an estimated 2 million political prisoners were held in camps from the Elbe to the Danube. Most names vanished into Archive Number 3 of the Ministry of State Security. Trains were the arteries of oppression. The Stasi logged every wagon. The Soviet MVD used freight to move dissidents like cargo. A single misplaced seal meant a firing squad. Switzerland, neutral and small, became an unlikely conduit. The Cold War's quiet battles were fought by clerks and priests, not generals. Bern's central freight depot handled over 400 international cars weekly. It was a place of ledgers, stamps, and indifferent bureaucrats. Emil Brunner was one of them. Born 1914, he had missed the war due to a childhood limp and spent his life counting coal. He married Anna, raised daughters, and never traveled beyond Lucerne. Each dawn he stamped manifests for French locomotives, Italian refrigerators, German steel. He knew the weight of every crate. He noticed when crate C-47 arrived from Basel with false bottom. But in November 1952, a folded note appeared in his lunch tin, delivered by Father Anton, a chaplain linked to the silent rails, a Catholic worker network moving escapees through rail corridors. The note named Joseph Hajek, 31, a village teacher from Moravia who had run illegal history lessons after the 1948 coup. Arrested in 1950, Joseph was tried for subversion and sentenced to 12 years. During a 1952 transfer to Leopoldov prison, he slipped a guard's grip and fled via freight to Salzburg, then to a Bern cellar. Swiss federal police, under pressure from Prague, prepared a quiet expulsion order. Brunner received the manifest to stamp. He didn't. Instead, he met the prisoner in a candle-lit basement. Joseph weighed 90 pounds, but his eyes held a verdict waiting to be spoken. He taught children that their grandfathers had owned farms now collectivized. For that, interrogators broke 2 ribs. The basement belonged to a watchmaker named Roth. He fed Joseph bread crusts and mapped escape lines with matchsticks. Brunner's plan used the yard's routine. Coal shipments to the canton of Graubünden traveled in wooden crates marked Heisgut. He commandeered 3, hollowed them, drilled breath holes, and padded with burlap from his wife's sewing. On the night of March 13, he told his shift supervisor a false story of a seized shipment. The depot at midnight was a cathedral of steam. He positioned the car, number 4471, on track 9. Joseph climbed into the center crate. Brunner nailed the lid, then stacked real coal around it. At 2:14 a.m., Inspector Lehman arrived with a dog. Protocol: tap 5 crates, check seals. Brunner handed Rhine tobacco. The dog was a Schutzhund named Kaiser. Brunner had fed him sausages for a week. Lehman laughed, tapped the outer crate, and signed the clearance. The whistle blew. Brunner rode the caboose, every tunnel a held breath. 9 hours, 18 tunnels, 1 heartbeat. At every stop, Brunner pressed his ear to the crate. He heard coughing, controlled, disciplined. In Chur, a lawyer from the International Justice Commission waited. Brunner rolled the crates onto a baggage cart, nodded, and walked away. He never took credit. Promoted in 1957, he retired with a pension. Only in 2003 did his grandson find margin scrawl, C-47 delivered, promise kept. Joseph testified in 1955 to the UN, detailing forced labor, starvation rations, and executions. His 200-page statement listed 340 prisoner numbers. His file became evidence for the Helsinki Final Act of 1975, which for the first time bound Eastern states to human rights scrutiny. In 1990, Czech Truth Commission cited his words to nullify 40,000 show trials. The clerk asked only that his name be omitted from the commission's footnote. He understood. A visible savior invites retaliation on family. An anonymous act lets the saved speak freely. History wrote Joseph's name in bold. It left the loader blank. We filmed the yard today, track 9 overgrown, the crane silent. The stake was never the escape alone. It was the bargain of erasure. One man's invisibility purchased another's voice. In the end, the hand that closed the crate chose to be forgotten so the world could remember what was inside.